celebrating 15 years of Young Turks.
Hello and welcome. You're watching this very special edition of Young Turks. Joining me here today is Vijay Shekhar Sharma of Paytm to talk on one of Paytm's biggest ever fundraising rounds. Thank you so much for joining here with us on CNBC TV 18. This is a shot in the arm for Paytm, isn't it? $1.4 billion coming in as investments from SoftBank. But break it up for us. How much of equity will SoftBank really get in Paytm after this investment?
Well, at Paytm, we believe that we are at a starting point, and an incredible starting point of a journey which is of 500 million Indians whom we want to bring on the financial inclusion system. So it is all about investing at least 10,000 crore for next 3 years, and
sure.
This capital will truly be, like you said, a shot in the arm for that, and we remain committed on the India story that India is a great place to be right now and build financial services. And with this, SoftBank will become significant large shareholder in our company. And I think the keyword that I can tell you here is that SoftBank was already a bit of shareholder, because we have large shareholders in Alibaba and 40% of them.
Yeah.
And SoftBank owns 30% of Alibaba, so they already owned indirectly 12%.
Sure, 12% is what they already own.
Yeah.
But in terms of, say, bringing in equity, how much does the structure look like after $1.4 billion of investment?
Well, I think, I don't know whether they want me to quote the number or not, but at the same time, our capital hopefully should go public any which ways. Overall, a few more things here and there, they will be about 20%. About
20%.
Yeah.
Okay. But will SoftBank get a board seat? Of course, they should. That's right. One is something that I hear.
Yeah, SoftBank will get one board seat, and Mark Schwartz, who's an old SoftBank friend and is an independent director on our board anyways.
All right, lovely. And talking about valuation, post this, nearly 10,000 odd crores of investment, how will this increase Paytm's valuation?
I think the only valuation for Paytm that matters is when we will touch $100 billion, and anything in between that is a journey. So it just doesn't matter.
$100 billion, how soon?
How soon? I wish that we could do it in 2025, like 10 years, or a little less than 10 years from today. Let's see what it takes.
Sure. And given since this is a fresh investment coming in at this point in time, will the equity of current shareholders get diluted?
Yeah, that's right.
Can you break that up for us?
Yeah, I think again, like I said, that Alibaba and Financial will be a little less than 40% now actually, and SAS partners will be still more than 20%, and I'll be around 16 or so. Exact numbers are not what I know, and then like SoftBank will be 20.
Sure, and MediaTek, I'm sure that also 1%.
So basically, if you notice, our cap table will have a very long-term capital. 95% of our company is owned by only long-term capital, and that to like 3 people.
Sure.
So that is what the beauty about our cap table is. We're lucky that we've got a risk capital of the size of, we've raised about $1 billion, just near $1 billion, or maybe $980 million. So we're talking about total such large capital, risk capital coming from venture grade investors. Because whether you talk about SoftBank or Alibaba, the investments are not from their funds which have an exit obligation. These are their balance sheet money, which the real plan is to build a company which is going to go for 10, 15 years. 20, 30 years, and that is what I think is lucky to have a state of.
In our earlier conversations, in fact, you also did hint that large number of HNIs are also looking to invest. Some investments coming in from them as well going ahead? No,
we've stopped taking any small capital lately. The last capital that we took was 1% from MediaTek, and that was again a strategic value that we were driving out of it. At the same time, we're not looking to get more capital, because this is what can take us really till next, like I said, 500 million customers, and maybe the break even also. Sure.
Next 3 to 5 years, you are looking to invest close to about $1.6 billion in the next
crores,
3. Yeah, that's almost 10,000 crore rupees. That's about $1.4 billion coming in from SoftBank. The remaining $200 million.
We have a cash in bank. We already are sitting with cash in bank.
Okay. How does the cash flows look like at this point in time?
We have cash in bank, and At the same point of time, we are net contribution positive. In our board meeting, we showed that we are net contribution positive. Net of marketing and funding costs from the banks, we are net contribution positive.
Sure. Also, can you give us a breakup of this investment, $1.4 billion investment? How much will be invested in the payments bank, which starts from May 23rd, and how much in the wallet business?
Yeah. So, if you notice, the way that our business should be looked at is that we have a payments business.
Yeah.
On top of it is a financial services business, deposits, wealth management, insurance, lending. And the other side will be the commerce business, digital goods, physical goods. That's the view that we carry for our business. Now, we have to acquire large payment business, and I think the biggest investment continues to remain customer acquisition. So converting these payment customers into deposit, which is a KYC, biometric, in person, then converting them for the wealth management. We launched digital gold the other day, and we will launch few more financial services products like we're talking. So the investment is effectively in large amount of payment and financial services business. As far as the payment bank is concerned, we are targeting around 400 crore of investment in the first year, and that we have already done. I mean that is allotted already separately, which is this capital is mainly for financial services business.
Sure. Will the investment of $1.4 billion come in tranches, or this is a one-time investment straight up?
It's a one-time thing.
Okay, all right. So you're comfortable for the next 3 to 5 years at this point in time, but any additional fundraising post that is something that you're contemplating?
Look, I'll tell you, like I said a while back, we feel truly privileged that we have shareholders who have long-term commitment and deep pockets. Which means that we will not need to go out to raise money if we need to. We will hopefully get access to the capital. So this is, we're not in a business which is let's say bleeding business. Like a commerce business is where a ton of money is to go and blow and so on and so forth. Financial services business is not that kind. So I don't think more amount of money will be needed. And we could be just turning profitable based on this capital. I mean, I never say no or never say final words. That is why I'm saying it. Otherwise, I fundamentally believe we would not need more capital after this.
So how many more months before Paytm really goes profitable?
Like I said, that this is a 10,000 crore of incremental losses that we have raised. So you should know this, that we are talking about losses of 10,000 crore for next 3 years.
You're burning a lot of cash, so you need a lot of...
That's what I'm saying. So I mean, why do you raise equity capital is that you can fill up the gap of spend or cash flow versus that you get from the customers. So this is the 10,000 crore of losses. We're not talking months, we're talking years ahead.
Okay. So does this pave way for a buyout or a merger with Freecharge? There were talks that Paytm will acquire Freecharge.
Well, I think this has no obligation, or this had no obligation of Freecharge. At the same point of time, what we believe is that our business is significantly there. What we are trying to find when we are looking at Freecharge is that if we can get non-overlapping new customers and some use cases, that's it. And that is exactly what in a large number of things, that is not a critical component, if you will, that is good to have component, if you will, if we get it.
Good to have, but talks are on to...
Yeah, we confirmed that there is a term sheet that we've given them.
Term sheet has been signed, so how soon we could see closure?
I think it is all about the agreeing exact fine prints of the discussion. I mean, if it is asked, we could do it tomorrow, and if it is not, and somebody continues to haggle this.
But how will Freecharge really complement Paytm? Because
we try to find that. That's what I said. So we have given a range of acquisition price, not a single price. And the reason that we are saying is because we want to figure out how many consumers are non-overlapping, what kind of consumer base and the merchant base and use cases that they have. I mean, that's it, nothing else. I mean, as far as otherwise the big plan is concerned, there it is not critical for our business. It may just be good to have.
It may just be good to have. Of course, the user base will substantially increase, not substantially, but to an extent.
User base will, because of overlap, we might not increase substantially, but I think they have a good user base.
Good user base, right. Of course, let's talk about the biggest, the next big update coming in from Paytm is the payments bank. You'll be launching it starting May 23rd. A few questions on that as well. What makes you confident of, having the payments bank turning profitable? Because a good amount, I think, of the applicants did move out. They did say that this is not a profitable business. Maybe the model is not workable. How confident are you?
So first and foremost, let's remember, in a financial services business, payment was totally non-profitable, and it is aggressively, we want to drive payment as a digital customer acquisition. Bank in itself, with the traditional business model of lending, is not at all a business model possible in payment bank, because you can't take deposit and lend it. So the business model is of transactions. As a company, how much money can you make based on transactions? So in our payment bank business model also, what we're talking is that it is about financial services transactions, payment transactions, offline, online.
Sure.
And I think we don't have to bother about profitability in our early days. We will have to bother about whether we have the correct offering to the customer or not. And I think, remember, India is significantly underserved and nearly unserved after a particular point of population, if we look at it. So the challenge for us is not about making it profitable, but making the correct product for those consumers. If as Paytm, I've always said it, if we could bring these 500 million Indians the access to the financial services which they don't have, I think our mission will be truly successful.
Sure.
And while doing so, there are 3 lines at a mission that are guiding principle for our payment bank, and that is what will define the profitability. And the line is that our mission statement and the culture guiding principle is no fear, no greed, no entitlement. And that simply means that we don't believe that we have an entitlement to win this game. I mean, we just believe that we are going to be the most paranoid and aggressive learners in this business.
Sure.
That's the entitlement part. No greed stands for, we are not here to suck blood out of, or suck all the juice out of, or suck all the money out of these poor consumers who probably don't have the services. And I think we want to stand as a strong benchmark that banking can exist without these kind of extraordinary overcharging situations that come on.
Then I think the key differentiator would be the interest rates. What kind of interest rates will Paytm Payments Bank offer?
Like I said it, in fact, the point is that to the consumer, we're going to cut the charges. And interest rate is not an obligation then, because we're going to say that banking with much less charges. It's coming next week. We're preparing the final print. Big picture that I want to tell you is that we want to serve the consumer, that it is not pinching for him to bank or her to bank. Remember, the payments, why didn't the payment grow? There were 2 sides of problems. One was there was a small number of people who could accept card payment, so we had to build a merchant network. And second was the fee. The fee was being charged was exorbitant anyways. So we brought it at a 0%. And we said, let's just spend money, invest money in building the network, and let's bring the cost to a 0. Nearly the same approach we're going to take there.
So
bring the cost to 0.
To start with, interest rates would be 0.
No, we can't.
Yeah, exactly.
The idea is that we did not fight the battle of giving more to the consumer as a cashback or benefit. We built it with a merchant network that merchants are incentivized to build our business.
But that was for the wallet business.
Now, if you notice that if I was to take this to the payment bank, then I'll say that I don't know, we are not in a payment bank interest war at all. I mean, we're not. Why am I saying that is because we believe that banking, if you notice, is a deposit business. It is not I can earn how much interest. I can earn how much of return on my capital, which is a wealth management business, is an interesting business. So if you want to expect returns, it's a wealth management business. If you want to get the banking, deposit, and various other services, it is a banking business. So we believe that any which ways, consumers are not getting large amount of interest, and one of the payment bank has offered significantly large amount of interest any which ways. And we are not in the payment interest war. I mean, we're not in interest war at all, which means that we will be nearly what the market benchmark is.
So it will be significantly lower than the market benchmark.
We believe that interest will not be our key offering. Our key offering will be our distribution. Key offering will be our service and service charges. That will be our
But if it should be at about the lower end of, say, sub 7.
While you're talking about interest rate, I mean, I can talk about it on Tuesday.
Sure.
What I can repeatedly tell you is that consumers will make better returns by putting their money in wealth management products instead of in a deposit account. That is a core fundamental rule of the businesses. But at the same point of time, what we want to say is the charges that the banks charge or the consumers are being charged is what we want to attack.
Sure, fair enough. What's the target set really in terms of, say, a 1-year revenue target for deposits, perhaps?
You know, unlike a traditional business, it's a startup. Any number is outrageous. Any number is outrageous. I mean, I don't know whether we have a 1,500 crore deposit already, by the way. I mean, that is already there. So I don't know, I mean 3-4 times $1 billion, $10 billion. I don't know.
3-4 times in the next 1 year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what should it be because we've not yet even tested 1 inch of it. So unless we know it, I mean, if you were to ask me what your payments business target is, I can tell you how many customers we can get, how many transactions they will do, not yet. How many merchant can we get? Yes, I can tell you. So what I can tell you is that we are building a distribution network across nook and corner of the country. Yes, thumbs up to that. Hundreds of thousands of that is our target.
What's the number? Distribution office?
Literally hundreds of thousands across the nook and corner of the country. And then we can talk about that how many consumers will we have. Now, what consumers do on those distribution centers and using app is a number that we have to see.
Sure. All right.
I'll not shoot the numbers in advance just because that there is.
All right. So, given SoftBank has already invested in a big amount, in Paytm, will we see SoftBank having any holding in the Paytm's payments bank as well?
Not now. I mean, payment bank is incidentally owned by Paytm.
All right.
49%.
Yes.
39 plus 10 through that structure and 51 by myself individually.
Yes.
If we want to raise more capital and we have space for international capital, yes, they will be definitely, I'll wish that they come on the cap table. But at the same time, right now we are not raising, right now we are not looking, right now this is not needed, so still.
All right, before I leave you, one last question. Is IPO in the offing at this point in time?
Having long-term capital means that we have no IPO pressure, no exit pressure. So for next 3 years, totally no IPO. Forget about IPO, totally not even break-even target.
All right, thank you so much for joining here with us on CNBC TV 18. So that was Vijay Shekhar Sharma of Paytm with $1.4 billion of investments. Paytm's kitty is really full at this point in time. They have embarked on an aggressive growth target. So keep this, really stay tuned for more on that.
Celebrating 15 years of Young Turks.